Congratulations on being selected to lead our final ship, the Arc 13, from our home.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DX Gamer Show. I'm Mike, aka Operation DX, and in the comments on my look video, one of the commenters requested that I do a bit longer video to kind of showing this game off a little bit more, so that's what I decided to go ahead and do.
Module selection is at your discretion, but choose wisely as we have limited space.
So consider this to be a mini Let's Play, I guess, of this game. I'm just going to do like one run through. Now this game takes like hours to play, so I guess I'll leave it up to you guys. You guys can let me know in the comments if you want to see the full thing or if this first episode is going to be enough. I don't know. I'll do like 15-20 minutes like my standard thing. Anyways, I am setting up my ship here with different modules. And the first screen there, I picked my captain and his, or actually her, affinity. I actually like the one I picked. It looks like one of the Cylons from the new Battlestar Galactica series. So that's why I always picked that chick. And then, so basically here is the ship setup. And how this works is the different modules take different types of resources. And you gotta kind of try to balance it out. It's kind of tough. My first couple of runs through this game were absolutely disastrous. And, you know, I was just reading things and misunderstanding them. Like, for example, I thought the life support system actually produced biomass as you used it, and I thought it would kind of balance the system out. But no, that was not, in fact, the case. So this time around, I'm just trying to kind of mix it up a little bit with the different resources
that best meet the needs of our modules and civilian population.
So here I have a limited amount of cargo space, and I have to try to balance out all the different resource types to fit the modules that I decided to pick for the ship. And this in itself can be kind of challenging. Now, you can go mining at each planet to try to, you know, help with these resources and stuff, but it kind of helps to get this right in the beginning. That way you can fly a little ways, get out of the first couple of sectors because you're getting chased the whole time. And it becomes kind of an issue. Now, I don't know if this is the best solution here because I picked an engine that is the slowest engine, but it eats the least amount of resources. And because of I picked the biomatter engine, which is the green engine last time, and I just had too much stuff using biomass, and yeah, it was terrible. So
resources at capacity.
Here, I think I've got somewhat decent of a mix. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm pretty happy with this. Just gonna fudge a couple things around here. Maybe give myself a little bit more O2, because it always seems like the first things that I run out of are the things that keep the civilians on your ship. So you have a bunch of civilians on your ship that are eating the CO2 and biomass, and depending on what systems and how the systems operate. Anyway, this part of the game makes me really uncomfortable because I just don't feel like I'm balancing this properly. So like I sit here and I look at the numbers, I'm like, oh, I guess they're okay, they look okay, I don't know. And I start fudging around with them a little bit more. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like the civilians are the most important thing probably in this game. So I'm gonna give them a little more biomass. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this away, a little bit of the hydrogen away, give them a little more biomass, and hopefully that will
You'll need to select a balanced crew, Captain.
Good to go. All right, so I'm set there. Now the next thing I need to do is pick out a balanced crew, a crew that can fit every single category quite well. The toughness is kind of like a floating number, but everything else you need. You need a good medic, good pilot, good engineer, good commander, and good miner. So some of these guys are really good at multiple things. And I'm not sure if these numbers are just random every time. I really haven't noticed. I haven't paid attention if these numbers are random every time you load up the game. I assume they are. And again, some of this stuff could be subject to change because this game is early alpha, you know, so there could be just a bunch of stuff that makes the game, you know, unique as you play it, and this stuff, I don't know like how they're I like it so far. I really do. I think the game is a lot of fun. Like I said, it reminds me of FTL a little bit. The crew management isn't quite as, I don't know, as intense as FTL. But again, alpha, 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 so who knows how that is going to go. Alright, so just picking my last crew member here, and off we go.
Entering hyperspace. All hands take position. Hyperspace jump complete. All systems appear normal, Captain. I've attempted to hail the other ARC vessels, but have yet to receive a response. Picking up numerous signals now, this system appears to be quite active. You should note that the Scorn likely tracked our movements here and will attempt to follow. We should keep moving and try to reach Titus Nova as quickly as possible. Engines at full power.
Alright, so off we go. We are all set up here with everything. Pretty much gave us a little bit of information. Here is the map. We're pretty much trying to reach the end of the map. Here's the resource screen. You can kind of pay attention to what is going on. There's the cargo space. I think you might be able to buy some extra cargo space later on through traders. That was the engineering screen. You can do all kinds of different unique things, which we may see in this first episode. You can heal different systems using parts. You can extend different systems using things that you collect along the way. And then planets are more or less a place that is going to allow you to refill up your ship using the mining system. There's different ways you can go about it. There's the mining probe that kind of gives you like this set amount of resources. I always deploy the mining drill because you need to fill up your ship. That's just the way it is. So that's pretty much what I do. And then, you know, if I see a trader along the way, I will try to head for them. But ultimately, you don't have a lot of time after you leave the first sector. Alright, so I'm already running into my first problem. So I had to pick an officer that can deal with that as best as possible. Usually it's like a medical problem or an engineering problem. The worst things that happen on board your ship have to do with like resource damaging. You can already see that I'm losing civilians, so that was a medical problem. So I picked a medical officer. So here we go. Don't really probably need to do this early in the game, but I like to fill up because planets get thin later on depending on what path you take. So here I just wanted to pick the best mining crew, the best pilot, and the best person that can mine. And I land down here on the planet. And different things can happen here. Your crew can get injured if your pilot's bad. And now you play this little mini game to collect resources. And some planets have certain resources, some planets don't. Most of the planets seem to have all the resources. So I am pretty bad at this game. As you can see, I destroyed my mining drill there. And this is all happening real time. So by not playing the minigame very well, the Scorn, I guess that's what they're called, are actively tracking me down, and eventually, like FTL, you'll start running into ships and you have to fight them. I've started to get better at that, and it's really helpful that you can pause the game. It's kind of critical. That way you can kind of, you know, stop the game, get a good bearing and all that, and then move forward. Now, this part of the game cannot be paused. And here, when I'm mining down, like you see these little red spots, and then there's like those little like hexagon spots. I don't want to hit those, or they mess my drill up. My drill becomes too damaged. I can't use it anymore. And it eventually runs out of fuel. You can see I've got a little timer on the top of the screen, and I've got 4 seconds, 3 seconds, and that's all the time I have. Now, I can take up to 500 of the resources that I've collected, and I just want to double check to see which ones I need. Usually always the best things to collect are the stuff that's going to keep these civilians alive, of course, unless you're having fuel problems with your engine. But right now, we're just so early in the game, we don't have to worry about that. All right, so I have yet another issue on my ship, and you have your, your set amount of crew, your 6 crew members, and you just want to use the one with the best score to fix whatever particular problem that you are working against. And then same thing with combat. You want to pick the best ones, and the same thing for pretty much all. So you kind of get the idea of how it works. All right, so repaired that. I have also learned that I don't want to get too close to the stars because the civilians get radiation sickness, and it just keeps happening over and over and over, and using up your medical officers and all of that. Early on in the game, they've actually patched it. So early on in the game, it's not as intense as it was. It used to be really intense from the word go, but they did patch the game to make the first sector a little lenient, and then once you get out of there, the game is pretty much on. In this game, it's not super easy. Like I said, it's kind of like FTL. It's hard. You're not going to be successful every run.
Command issue resolved.
Once you get used to combat, though, like, you know, you probably could get through like most of the time, kind of thing, because I don't have too much trouble dealing with like 3 ships at a time at this point. I might early on in this, but here we can see another like ARC ship. It's very similar to the type of ship that I have here, and we can head over and investigate it, and it may give us some special stuff. So here again we have a medical alert. I want to put my medical officer on that, and I'm going to head toward this target. So traveling through space in this game is kind of slow. You don't have like a warp drive or anything like that. You're just traveling, hard traveling through, and you know, time is passing, so you can see that, you know, in so much time my oxygen supply is going to run out. So much time my food supply is going to run out. And at the top of the screen you can kind of see we're at whatever year and whatever day, and you know, that gives you an indicator. And like I said, you can get some interesting things along the way. There's little bonus things that'll make your systems run a little more efficiently, and those are very, very helpful. And you can get them like it's totally random. Like every time that I've gone to this ship always seems to be here. A new different thing happens, so that's good. So, you know, that adds replay value to the game, which I think is important. Kind of like how FTL was, where you know, you play through the game and you get different ships and different type of crew, that sort of thing.
Captain Cooper's ship.
All right, so yeah, it's telling us that it's one of the arcs, very similar to this ship, and then we have to use a shuttle to send over there to see what's going on, and there's certain different tasks. Again, we want to put the best crew for each task, or the mission may not be a success, and we'll see that in just a second. So I'm just looking through here real quick, and I just want to pick the best thing. I accidentally, you know, fudge it, and like for some reason it drops out alpha. All right, so I have a 100% success chance rate, so that's quite good. And then it's kind of cool. You get these little animations, and then it tells you, you know, what's going on the screen. And then, you know, it's like, oh, do you want to do the mission? Bam, did the mission. Okay, so it's successful. A 100% success chance. And see, there's something totally new. So the red canisters are the things that extend the abilities of your stuff. So I could use the red canisters on my food and
Engines at full power.
on my oxygen supply, and it'll make them last longer. And then the blue ones make your systems a little harder. So I could put like the blue one on one of my shield generators, and if I get into a fight, it's less likely to get damaged, kind of thing. So, yep, I'm always having a medical alert, so you can see that I'm like constantly losing crew, and usually towards the end, it's just the all-out terrible, terrible thing that goes on, because I have no food, no oxygen, you know, I'm like struggling to get to that planet or that trader kind of thing, because like I said in the beginning, like it seems like there's planets everywhere, and then the game just kind of thins out all of a sudden, like what's going on? Alright, so now I have a command issue.
Closing in on us, Captain. Medical issue resolved.
Okay, so here we have, this is kind of like how the FTL thing is. Now in FTL, you know how you get that little like bar that comes across the screen that shows you like if you go in this area you're going to run into the bad guys kind of thing. So I don't remember it working like this when I first played the game, but now how it works is the sector will go yellow alert, and then it'll go like orange alert, and once it's like orange alert, you're gonna like run into the Scorn like every, you know, couple of minutes kind of thing, just like FTL. Like you run into them like every friggin' turn. So yeah, it gets rough, and all the while time is passing. So if, for example, you don't have resources for your civilians, they're just going to keep dying and dying and dying as you do these fights. It's crazy. So yeah, I haven't found this part of the game to get like annoying, but I imagine like if I played this game a whole bunch, like all these alerts all the time, like medical alert, command alert, blah blah, I think that might, I don't know, I think they might want to mix it up. Alpha, 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 alpha. I know. But you know, it's cool though. Like I totally, like, I'm having fun with this game. I like it. It's a nice little time killer kind of thing, and I like that little kind of struggle to survive. I always engineering issue resolved. I always wanted a like multiplayer version of FTL, or you know, just like FTL2 or whatever. And I know I haven't played the FTL Advanced. That was one of the comments on my thing. But I don't know. I think it's cool. I don't do this too much. This is actually kind of helpful, though, if your ship's positioned in a certain direction and you can't see around you. You can actually hit a key and then use the middle mouse button to look around. That really helps. It would be nice in this game if you could actually look around the bridge, if you could look left to right out the windows kind of thing. That would definitely help. Alright, so I have an engineering alert right when I'm approaching a planet, which is probably going to be a dude that's like good at mining. That would figure. Oh, and you see those two medical things? We'll probably see that later too, in a different episode, because we're already moving to 17 minutes, but I'm gonna keep rolling with this for a little bit. Alright, so again, gonna do the whole mining thing. So I have a good crew, 90-some%. That's perfect. And like I said, that's kind of how this works. So the traders so far that I've encountered, like, always seem to want to trade resources, but I wish that they would trade like those modules and stuff. Like, there are points in this game where you just desperately need those repair modules to repair your hull or the different systems and stuff. And sometimes, man, I suck at that game. I suck at this minigame. That's okay, I still got 220 resources, but it's just the time. The time keeps passing, and I think we're in a yellow alert in this sector. So, but anyways. Yeah, so I need to encounter the traders a bit more to see if you can buy some of those modules off them. I kind of wish it was more like FTL, because FTL, like, you could run into these little shops and buy, you know, this weapon system or this little thing and that kind of thing. This game doesn't really have that. It's got the traders floating around, but it doesn't have the things where you get to select. So it's like you run into the ship and it's like, hey, do you want to trade these resources for these resources kind of thing. But like, I'm wanting those modules. Now, the modules usually drop off of the guys that you fight, like the repair stuff and the other ships, the other ARC ships. So like, if you see those things, you definitely want to encounter them, even if they're kind of out of the way. If they're too out of the way, you just might not want to do it. Now here, you know, I've collected way more resources than I can actually bring back.
Your orders, Captain.
I don't know if I like get a better mining rig if I could actually do that, but that's like all potential stuff that they could add to this game to make it interesting, you know. I don't know, but I'm all about that kind of stuff.
Yellow alert. Scorn tracking our position.
Okay, so we weren't in yellow alert in this sector yet. We're just moving out here. So even though, you know, I kind of want to show you combat in this first episode. Like, my whole thing is, like, I want to get away. I'm trying to move forward as fast as I can. So I always use these things on the life support system and the food thing. So those are the two that I was talking about earlier that allows you to extend the it makes them run more efficiently. So you can see that my food supply for the next 10 days is going to run better, and my oxygen supply for the next 10 days is going to run better. It allows me to get away with a little bit more, not have to necessarily hop on a planet, that kind of thing. But yeah, this planet's actually kind of huge. It's in 2 different sectors, so
Command alert.
yep, another command alert. See, so that's kind of how this game runs here. So you're just kind of running and managing your resources, and that's kind of the gist of the game. And then the combat. There's the combat, which is kind of cool. Like at first I didn't get it with the whole like, you know, they're firing this modulation, and you know their shields are at this modulation, and you gotta change your weapons to reach or match or like not match the modulation so you can get through and do damage. And I didn't know how to target subsystems and stuff, and I totally get that now, where you like target their shields and weapon systems, which is critical to know. So even though we already done a drill on this planet, it's because we're in the other sector and it's not in the yellow. I decided to just go ahead and go down again. Although, because I'm using the slowest engines, it isn't helpful. But they might want to consider doing like a different animation too, like for this, because that would probably get old. Because you have to do this a lot. Because you run through your resources. So like these are essentially just like refueling stations. But again, I'm not doing too bad, but I usually really suck at this game. See, running into the red things. I make sure that I get enough of the stuff that allows me to deploy this drill, like every time, just in case. Because that's the only thing on this ship currently that uses that type of resource that I set this up. And that's all I get. So get the hydrogen for the gas. I'll get that so I can deploy the drill, and that's pretty much all I'm getting. And I'm leaving, and I can see there's a target indicator for a ship in front of me, so
engines at maximum.
Another medical alert. Yep, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. That's kind of weird.
Scorn patrols detected.
Yeah. So there's going to be a fight soon, I think, because like you can see that ship to the right in my target reticle. I'll pretty much I'll go ahead and keep running this episode until I get into at least one fight. That way, if you guys determine that you don't want to see the rest of this run, at least I got into one fight. Later on, there is a ton of fighting. That's pretty much all that's going to happen is fighting. So and it gets interesting, and then you got to like repair your different systems, and it becomes like a struggle for not only your resources, but it becomes a struggle to keep your ship in good shape and, you know, being able to fire your missiles and weapon systems. Now, that's another thing that's kind of interesting too about this game is the lasers and the missiles don't require any sort of resources. So that's probably something that they might, you know, that's another thing they could probably add, because that's another thing you had to manage in FTL was like your reactor, and then of course you had a set amount of missiles that you could actually fire, and then once you ran out, you were done. Yeah, but this game, I don't know. It would suck bad though, like. But that would just, you know, add that like hard element, you know. But they would need to add places where you could pick up more missiles and all that kind of thing, because like that doesn't seem to exist. So
closing in on us, Captain.
Yeah, there's a ship floating around. It's gonna get to me. But I want to go ahead and trade with this guy and just kind of show you. So
message coming through.
Here we go. We're trading with this dude, and he wants civilians for hydrogen. I'm going to decline that trade because the civilians are precious. They're a precious resource in this game. There we go. Alright, so good. We got combat. So I'll go ahead and I'll do this combat, and then I'll go ahead and wrap things up for this first episode. And you guys can let me know in the comments if you want me to continue this journey until its completion, because I did record the whole thing. So, all right. So just want to pick the best crew for this fight. So we want to do a commander, 2 best engineers, and a medic. Unfortunately, my good medic is on task, but I do have people that are multiple and good things. So right now, we're looking at this ship, targeted. It has a red shield modulation, which means that I want to set my weapons to either yellow or blue. Now he's going to fire on me, so I want to set my deflector to blue to block his fire.
Enemy shot deflected.
And there, so I took no damage. Now I am firing on his weapon systems to try to disable his weapon systems, which is very, very helpful because your deflector cannot keep up. So he just rotated to yellow shield frequency. I'm still on blue. And I'm just going to go ahead and keep firing to try to take out his weapon systems. Deflecting blue because he's firing blue. But some damage did get through. Now, in the beginning of this game, your engineers really suck at firing the weapon systems. They suck so bad. So right now, like when I critically need it to take the engine or the weapon systems down, I'll fire, you know, pretty decently. But now that it's like more lax, like I'll miss so often because the engineer score. So like, even though these guys are like moderately decently high, like 51 and 45, yeah, they just miss so badly. It feels like FTL, you know, where you just miss. See, just miss there. I hit there. So
shot missed.
I'm pretty much keeping him unable to do anything to me, and that's pretty much how I manage most of the fights. So, you know, I'm taking his shields down. If I keep hitting his weapon systems, he won't be able to repair them, but like they repair the weapons and shields periodically, and that's kind of how it works right now. Yeah, my guys just suck terribly. So there you go. I'm hitting the I keep hitting the weapon systems, and like it just doesn't give them the ability to repair. So essentially, what I try to do in all these fights is I try to knock the weapon systems down, and then I try to fire the missile at the hull because it does a ton of damage. So again, there you can see he changed his modulation to yellow. So I just need to make sure that I'm not firing yellow. Gosh, these guys suck in the beginning.
Bad shot.
Bad shot. Yeah, missed again. It's so frustrating, but they get a lot better. They hit like a lot when you get them leveled up. So like pretty much after every fight, they will get better and better and better, and makes it good. So, and two, like the different weapon systems that you pick in the game, like in the beginning, really matter. Like I didn't pick the heavy hitters, I picked the fast loaders, and I think that definitely makes a difference. So there we go, popped him. My engineer got some experience.
Enhancements recovered.
My medic got some experience, and I got a couple of parts. So see there, like from that guy, he dropped some parts that can repair different systems. My hull took a little damage, so I might want to go into the engineering screen, use one of those parts to repair the hull of my ship. I might want to wait. You know, some of my systems got slightly damaged, and that's how it works. It's pretty fun. I like it. But from this point, you've seen a good majority of how the game operates. But again, if you'd like to see me finish this journey, I will totally do that. But for now, that is pretty much it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a great day and take care.